Hey everyone, we're going to switch gears today. I don't have a science experiment for you. We're going to look at something that involves art. Now, a couple weeks ago, I got this idea because I left all of my paint and my paintbrushes at school, and I was at home quarantined for 2 weeks without something to create and something to work on and paint. So I had to get a little creative. So that's what brought this lesson together, and we're going to make watercolors with things that you have in your kitchen. And today we're going to try 12 different ingredients. Some of these I actually haven't tried myself, and I'm just really intrigued to see how they're going to look on paper. Some of these I do know work really well as a watercolor, and others they probably won't, but we won't know unless we try, right? So it's really important to know one thing before we get started. Watercolor is basically a colored pigment that is mixed with a water-soluble binder. And what that means is that a colored pigment, so maybe something that's red, is mixed with a binder. And the binder binds or attaches the pigment onto the paper. Now, the watercolor in your stores, the binder is something called gum arabic. Don't really need to know that. But today our pigments are going to be the things that we have in our kitchen. So let me show you what we're working with today. All right, so the pigments that we're going to use today that are in our kitchen, I have paprika, cumin, and cinnamon. These three things can be found in your spice cabinet. I have balsamic vinegar. If you don't have balsamic vinegar, there's something called red wine vinegar. It has a different color, but it should do the trick. I have something very basic. I have red food coloring. I have blue food coloring. Down here I have some coffee grinds. I have black tea leaves, and I have some soy sauce. I also have green tea leaves. These are a little different. These aren't ground up as much as my black tea leaves. These actually go in something else. We're going to try Coca-Cola. I'm not sure if this is going to work or not, but we'll see. And this last one here is hot chocolate powder. All right, so what I need to do now is mix all of my pigments into some water that I poured. If you notice, I'm using just a cupcake and muffin pan. This works wonders, especially for the little ones that are painting. All you need to do is, put a little bit of paint in each one. This is actually a cupcake pan that I am going to reuse, and I can because all of the paints we're using today are safe, natural foods that we would normally eat. Or put into our food or drink. So there's nothing that is harmful to a person if it's ingested. So I'm just going to go ahead and use my cupcake pan today for this. I'm going to call it an experiment because I really don't know the outcome of some of these here. Result. So I've learned a few things in this art experiment that we did this afternoon. I realized that, first of all, cinnamon does not work as a watercolor. Neither does Coca-Cola. However, I think the green tea and the black tea would have worked better if I actually steeped it in hot water first and then let cool. The coffee did really well without being submerged in hot water, so I'm surprised with that. The paprika made a really nice orangey color. The cumin, I'm surprised. At first, it didn't look like it was working, but it turned out to be a really nice light yellow, kind of like a beige tan color. The food colorings obviously worked. They are basically just a pigment without the binder like we were talking about before. I really like the balsamic vinegar. Now, with all of these I mixed water into. I think the balsamic vinegar I didn't have to, but it did create a really nice light brown. The soy sauce, same thing. I probably shouldn't have mixed water with it, but it doesn't look horrible. So I know what not to use: cumin and Coca-Cola, and I know, or cinnamon and Coca-Cola. And I know how to improve on the black tea and green tea and the soy sauce and balsamic. So I hope you guys really like this experiment / art lesson. I think my next video is going to be watercolor techniques. So stay tuned, and we're going to stick with watercolors because they're a lot of fun. Bye guys.